For this Learning Circle assignment, the average Joes decided to focus on admired leaders. Recognizing the leaders that have mentored us presented the opportunity to reflect on what it takes to be an influential leader to others. It is hard to pigeonhole a leader into a specific leadership theory category because leaders usually have many layers depending on the circumstances. Although we interviewed leaders from diverse industries, they all have several attributes in common: servant leadership, the ability to motivate and mentor followers, and leading by example mentality.
My name is Seth Ballou, and my admired leader was my head baseball coach, Matt Deggs. And I asked him three questions. Question one: what does being a servant leader mean to you, and why would this be important? He mentioned that you must serve all others before yourself, and you must lead from the back, not the front. Um, this basically means you must humble yourself in order to lead. If you want to lead, you must lead with everybody instead of on top of the podium, basically barking out orders for people to do certain things and whatnot. And he went from a transactional coach to a transformational. He used to be result based and result oriented, and whether he liked you or not was based on your results. And now he's into building people up, forming relationships with everybody so that they can be life lasting. Second question was, how do you motivate your followers? He said, through faith, sacrifice, and obedience. If you have faith, sacrifice, and obedience, then all things are possible. He motivates us to be great in everything we do every single day. And basically, through your faith, if it's on a full tank, if you make sacrifices each and every day for yourself and for your brothers, and if you have the obedience to say no to the things that aren't good for you and don't help in your success, then all things are truly possible. My third and final question for Coach Deggs was, what three skills help you most in your leadership? He said service, humility, and integrity, and placed an emphasis on service because it's number one and everything else is after it. Basically, he's real big on serving. And next is humility. You must humble yourself in order to experience true success and true leadership. And integrity, obviously you must do the right thing, and he wants to be known for being a guy who did the right thing and had great character throughout his time as being a coach. He also does not place emphasis on skills that are result based. None of these skills are um, skills that require results, rather more into people building than results.
My name is Joshua King, and my admired leader is actually a good friend of mine. His name is David, and he is a business owner of an educational supply company here in Houston. And the first question I asked him is really based on the path goal theory, and it is it more important to you that challenging goals are set for the team, or that you do little things to make it pleasant to be a member of the team? David's response was that challenging goals are set and monitored openly among the team. The purpose of the team is to achieve objectives beneficial to the organization and therefore to every member of the team. All team members are treated respectfully, and individual strengths, challenges, and personal circumstances are considered when making decisions. But productivity is not a secondary concern. Just doing some analysis in light of the theory from his response is that it seems from Dave's response that being supportive is important, but being achievement-oriented shines through with his last statement. As the owner of a small business, he has to win in order to provide for his family and for his employees. The second question I asked was really based on the authentic leadership theory, and it is, how important is it for others on your team to know who you truly are as a person? His response was, it's actually very important. He founded the company and considers it a reflection of himself. He said, my character, my integrity, and my ministry are at stake with each decision and with each action he takes. There are no shortcuts. A brief lapse in judgment can be very costly. Team members should always understand what drives me as a person and my priorities when making decisions. This is the only way they can be expected to make decisions that conform to our core beliefs. And just looking at that analysis in light of the theory is David would more than likely score high under relational transparency. He understands as the founder and owner of the company that he is the company. If the core beliefs of the company are high, so must his character. If he isn't transparent on a relational level with each member of the team, then not only will he be judged, but the organization will also be judged as non-transparent and untrustworthy. The third question I asked him was really based on servant leadership, and it is, if others need to make important decisions at work, do they always need to consult you? His response is very simple. Yes, I am accountable for every important decision, and my involvement is required. He said sometimes it is a formality, but it is required. Just looking at some analysis in light of that theory is, the question may not have been the best to judge the degree to which David is a servant leader. At his heart, he is a servant leader given the care and concern he shows his staff, but not at the extent that could be shown in a larger organization that is well leveraged with a clear succession plan to executive levels. As a small business owner, he is limited in the time he can spend developing people. Given the nature and size of the business, individual autonomy of team members isn't completely possible at this point. The fourth question I asked David was based on the behavioral approach, and it was, are you more likely to tell employees what to do to solve a problem, or make suggestions about how to solve a problem? David's response was that I prefer to make suggestions or ask questions leading them to possible solutions. I definitely ask probing questions once a solution is proposed to ensure all pros and cons are considered. If I always solve the problem, I'll always have to solve the problem, and no growth has occurred. Some more analysis in light of this theory is David prefers to focus on relationships than just merely tasks. He knows that an overdependence on tasks to accomplish a goal will cause overly dependent relationships and harm the individuals on the team by stunting their growth. The last question I asked David was based on the transformational leadership theory. Are you more likely to talk optimistically about the future or to keep track of all mistakes? David's response was a positive outlook, even in the most challenging circumstances, will always beat pessimism. Negativity is contagious and does not foster a healthy work environment. A negative or pessimistic team member will not be employed long, even if they somehow make it through the hiring process. Mistakes are addressed directly and respectfully, but not continually. A gentle reminder or careful observation of the action following a mistake is prudent, but after it is not repeated, the matter is closed. Some analysis in light of the theory based on his response is that David is a transformational leader at heart. He makes a great point that you can be transformational, helping people develop as he influences them to attain a common goal. But there are times when issues have to be addressed. If they're addressed incorrectly or not addressed at all, the leader's influence has been reduced. Just looking overall at David's responses, it's hard to pigeonhole a leader into a specific leadership theory category. There are attributes of each one that David displays. I'm sure he has in a leadership role in a large company, the attributes may be different given the new culture, but being a small business owner, he is forced to be more hands-on, even if his nature is to develop people.
My name is Akayla, and I did my admired leader on Corey Williams, who is an assistant manager at Walmart, and he is also a leader in the community. So my first question that I asked him was, what do you feel your strengths are as a leader? And he said that his was being committed, determined, and not being afraid to make sacrifices. The second question that I asked him was, what does being a servant leader mean to him and why is it important? Pretty much he just said he felt it was important to be the best leader was to be understanding to your followers and most importantly to lead by example, because you can't expect your followers to incorporate change if you can't change yourself. Okay, so the third question that I asked Corey was, how do you motivate your followers? He said that the most important thing is to know your people. The better you know them, the better you know how to lead them, and being an encouraging leader and knowing when to give recognition. The fourth question that I asked him was, are you a leader? Was he a leader by nature or did he have to learn to lead? And he pretty much just said that he's always been drawn towards responsibility and he always wanted to be a mentor to others. And that was something that was always really important to him. And that kind of led him into his role of wanting to be a leader.
My admired leader is Lance Miles. He was the team captain of our baseball team for the past 2 years, and now he's the director of operations for Sam Houston State. The next question I asked him was, how do you motivate your followers? Lance said, try to make the day and the task enjoyable, and helping the followers to see the purpose and the end goal. By having followers buy into the vision, you can also get them to motivate themselves in their job within the process. There is never a feeling of busy work, and I think that is a huge factor in finding purpose for the team. Lance made sure every day had a purpose. Even the days that felt more laid back, he made sure to keep us locked in so we were able to take positive steps towards our collective goal each day. The next question that I asked Lance was, are you a leader by nature, or did you have to learn to lead?
The leaders that we interviewed had very important qualities in common, such as being servant leaders, having the ability to mentor and motivate their followers, and leading by example mentality. These tasks are probably the most difficult to develop and take years of experience and observation to get right. Each leader had an example of what made them a servant leader and why it was so important for them to have this trait for their team. Their attitude of leading by example demonstrates they hold themselves accountable for their actions, which encourages the team to abide by the same standard. The simple fact that we chose them as an admired leader is a testament to their mentorship and motivation. These leaders have assisted in molding us into the leaders we are today.